I want to get to the money before we get over into the messy stuff, right? Because I always want to add value. And so yesterday, the inflation reports were released. Well, why talk about it? Why not just share it with you? Make sure y'all hit a like for the YouTube algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Let's continue.
Turning now to the economy, there's more good news in the fight against inflation. The Labor Department reports the Consumer Price Index grew at an annual rate of just 4%. That's the slowest pace in more than 2 years. CBS's Carter Evans reports that despite the slowdown, consumers are still feeling the pinch at the grocery store.
Just in time for the summer driving season, gas prices are down dramatically. Last year's $70 fill-up only costs about $50 now. And those declining prices help push down overall energy costs.
So before we deep dive into this, let me go ahead and give you a little bit of update, because I know that it's a lot of new people that watch the show, but there's those of you that has been with me for a long time, right? Over a year ago, around the same time last year, inflation was at about 10%, somewhere between 8 and 10%. And so the tool that the government uses in order to lower inflation is they raise rates, which is one of the reasons why a lot of people are complaining about their credit card rates. They complaining about housing rates, right? The interest that you're paying on the loans that's given to you as a result of borrowing in order to purchase the things that you want and use every single day. Inflation, ladies and gentlemen, is basically the cost of money. It means that the value of money decreases as inflation goes up, right? So when you print more money, when you spend more money, when you have more money in circulation, and then you have to use that money in order to do the things that's not valuable to you or valuable to you, but more or less, your money doesn't go as far as it used to. That's called inflation. The government usually targets a 2%. I don't know why they're not targeting 0, but they're usually targeting about 2% inflation. So when we had that 8 to 10% inflation about a year ago, that was a problem. And so what they had to do is they had to continue to raise rates in order to make money more expensive to borrow. So when you had those very, very, very low interest rates, when you were getting homes and people refinanced their homes during the pandemic and things like that, essentially what happened was they got cheap money, very, very cheap money. And the government had to fight inflation, because even though you guys felt like you were winning, you were really losing, because when you went to the gas pump, when you went to the grocery store, your inability to actually be able to find workers, when you got new housing, rent, utility prices, so on and so forth, your rate of inflation, your real life inflation, your money didn't seem to go as far, even though you would get a raise on your job and they would let you work from home and all of this other type of stuff, right? So when they were giving out these stimulus checks and it was sending you free money and you were excited, you didn't really realize that that was going to come back to bite you later on, right? And so they had to raise the debt limit. Your money didn't go as far. Inflation was high as hell. And so the main tool that the government had in order to fight that was to raise rates, which then slowly but surely continued to lower the inflation rate. And so now they're reporting at it about 4%, which is much closer to 2% than 8 to 10%. All right, so let me continue.
At the grocery store, food prices are still rising overall. Flour is up 17%, cereal more than 9%, but bacon is down, and eggs fell more than 13% just last month.
You're still paying higher prices. The rate at which prices are increasing is slowing down.
Inflation is now at 4%, less than half of what it was this time last year.
So let me give y'all a little bit of insight, because a lot of y'all going to say, oh, inflation is down 4%. Everything is absolutely awesome. We're getting back to regular. It doesn't mean that the prices actually decreased. So the prices that you're still paying is very much similar to the prices that you were paying last year. The way that they base inflation is a year-over-year comparison, okay? So when they say growth or inflation is at 4%, it means that it's at 4% compared to what it was last year. You're still paying last year's rates plus 4% on top. So it's still costing you a lot. And the rate of inflation, meaning that the amount of time it takes for your dollar to devalue, is much better, but you're still paying higher prices. Nobody is getting a relief on their rent. Nobody is getting less money that they have to spend at the grocery store. You still spend an egregious amount of money at the gas pump. When you travel, so on and so forth. Inflation is, the price of living is still high. It's just not going up as fast. And then what they're hoping to do is have wages and everything else increase to beat the rate of inflation. So when you see this watch, for example, that I bought yesterday, right? Or actually the day before yesterday, but I revealed to you yesterday. I seen somebody in the comments and they were saying, Anton, that doesn't make sense. Why are you buying watches over this and that and so on and so forth? And then somebody else responded to him and they said, do you know that the price of ideal timepieces actually increased in value and beat the rate of gold and silver? And it beat the rate of inflation exponentially. So Anton actually made a good investment, and they couldn't understand that because they don't understand money. And so the thing that I want y'all to understand when we having these conversations is that it's not just about the entertainment, it's understanding how money works, because you can make as much money as you want to, but you won't be able to keep it because you don't understand how to multiply it, right? It's still high prices. It's just not climbing as much as it was before.
And the new numbers show Americans are now spending on experiences rather than products.
This is really an economy that's thriving from people going to restaurants, from people going out to shows, from people traveling.
The rate of inflation has steadily declined, right in line with the Federal Reserve's interest rate increases. Is the Fed's plan working?
The Fed's plan is working. The challenge is to get this exactly right.
Now, all eyes will be on the Federal Reserve tomorrow for the latest interest rate decision. After 10 increases, analysts now expect central bankers to pause rate hikes, at least for a month or so, and that's really good news for anyone looking to borrow money. Nora?
So the last thing that he said is very, very important, ladies and gentlemen. He said that is very good news for those of you that are looking to borrow money. Let me say that one more time for the people in the back. This is very good news for those of you that are looking to borrow money. Why is this very good news for people that are looking to borrow money? And why do they want you to start borrowing money again? Because the way that they make their money is based off of the idea that you continue to borrow. You are a debtor nation. You are a reflection of the people that you voted in office. Well, Anton, what does it mean to be a debtor nation? It means that we don't really make anything anymore. The way in which we generate revenue is largely based off of the idea that the people feel that it's necessary for them to continue to borrow money in order for them to continue to maintain a lifestyle or generate more revenue. For example, a lot of people feed off this narrative and they say, well, I'd rather make money off of somebody else's money than use my own money in order to do it. And it is one of the dumbest things that I've ever heard because you truly do not understand the context, right? When you spend on a credit card, we know exactly how much you're paying in interest. And then that money goes into the bankers. And then the bankers spend your money and they happy because they continuously selling you stuff that you don't need in order to maintain a lifestyle and impress people that don't care anything about you. When you get a 30-year mortgage instead of a 15, Rita and I was looking at some properties yesterday. Before we started watching Luther, we was watching Luther on our way to bed last night, and we were looking at some properties, and we was like, man, look at this shoddy work. Look how trash this place is. Look how much they trying to get to this. There's so many people trying to flip, and then the property obviously had been sitting for an extended period of time because most people that have the money to even be able to purchase that property understand that it was trash and that they just looking to flip. And so one of the ways in which they get the revenue to even be able to flip the property is they get what you call a hard money loan. And a hard money loan is a much higher interest rate than getting a mortgage. But you can do whatever it is that you need to do with the money in order to get, flip the property. You can hurry up and turn it over and put all of the cosmetics and everything like that. But the property is still trash. It's a trash property. It's in a horrible location. But somebody is going to see it. They're hoping for somebody else to see it so that they can then take out a mortgage, pay back that person, which they then pay back the hard money loan. And then they hold on to that mortgage for the next 30 years, paying the interest to the mortgage company, and the bank benefits and profits off both of you guys. You see what I'm saying? We're a debtor nation. All of the money is dependent on somebody else continuously spending more money and paying more interest so that you can make money on top of your money. The hard money lender is looking to make money from the person that's flipping, that's looking to make money from the person that's going to purchase it, that's looking to make money for the bank. This debtor nation literally is a pyramid scheme. It's a pyramid scheme. The banks have sold you on the idea that you can own a home even though it's not yours until you pay it off. And even when you pay it off, you still got to pay the property taxes on it. And you can't even get it insured. So if it washes away because you're over there in Florida, then you just shit out of luck. It's a pyramid scheme. Somebody looks at a distressed property. They're a speculator, meaning that they're hoping that they can finesse somebody else into getting into something that's not even really best for them. And so what they do is they look to purchase the property cheap. They get a hard money loan, which is being taught in these real estate circles. That's not even ideal for people that don't even understand what hard money loans will do to you. The hard money lenders are making an egregious amount of money because it's basically making crazy rates by giving you a short-term loan. Okay? The flipper takes the money from the hard money lender. The wholesaler is making money because they found the property. You see the cycle? The flipper then hopefully can keep it within budget so that they can hurry up and sell it, and they don't have to carry the property long enough to continue to pay the interest to the hard money loan. The consumer, which is you, is getting finessed because you then say, well, they told me that I can earn my home and it's cheaper than renting, because you don't truly understand what it is that you're buying and you don't understand the true cost of home ownership. So then you go and purchase the property and you take out a mortgage, which then benefits the flipper, which then benefits the hard money lender and the wholesaler. And then now you paying interest to the bank for the next 30 years. And you're going to pay triple what it is that you actually bought the house for, which is why we don't really make anything else in this country, because everything is based off of a flip and a pyramid. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. We're going to get to the money and we're going to show you how to really, really build wealth and how to look at money a little bit differently than what it is that they teaching y'all on Instagram and all of these little clips that y'all keep watching, because y'all truly don't understand how money works. I promise you, you don't understand how money works.